everybody, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching today. It's a Monday. We like to talk about the waiver wire on our Monday show, and in fact, week 14 is coming, and that is the beginning of the fantasy playoffs for an awful lot of leagues. Signal the Angels' trumpets. It's very, very important. As important as any of this stuff is, my overriding advice is accept that you don't have a lot of control, but I mean, we can sort of snip away at the edges of our fantasy rosters and see if we can make some improvements. We will start out with the potential shallower league ads available in 2/3 of Yahoo leagues or fewer. It's not going to be an awesome week for the shallow league waivers as we go into these playoffs. There's nobody where I can look at an injury from week 13 and say, oh, big chance for that guy, the way we did for Austin Eckler last week. And then again, we saw how that turned out for Eckler. Courtland Sutton is a favorite prospect of mine, and he scored a touchdown in Cincinnati, but he's been so up and down. Quarterback isn't scarce in deep, let alone shallow leagues, so adding Lamar Jackson could work, but it also could muddy your lineup submission. Jalen Richard is part of an obvious split with a bad team. I'm going to zig instead of zagging. I would add Chris Godwin before Adam Humphries from Tampa Bay. I know the numbers don't look that way. I think Humphries is Cole Beasley. I think Humphries, Cole Beasley, that sort of player is a hard hill to die on in a fantasy playoff game. And I'll admit, I'm recording this before Washington's Monday night game, but Thompson is supposed to return.
Your phone does more. Shouldn't your case? Support. Entertain. Trust. Protect. For those who do more, there's only one case. Scooch Wingman.
Okay, back at it. Thanks to Scooch for sponsoring. I've got the Scooch phone case from my iPhone. Absolutely love it. Use it every single day. So let's talk about deeper league ads. There are no absolute slam dunks here either. If you want to veer in the direction of handcuffs like Rod Smith for the Cowboys, Gio Bernard for the Bengals, Malcolm Brown for the Rams, although he left Sunday with a shoulder injury, that would be fine. I'm not going to talk about those guys here. This might be a good week for it. I'd say go get some handcuffs. But if you're in a speculative mood, I think there are good candidates. And I'm going to show you film on 3 of them. Because he had a strong second half Sunday night, it wouldn't shock me if Justin Jackson winds up being the starter for the Chargers if Melvin Gordon misses week 14. You can see the Dante Pettis film work I did on this channel last Thursday. Possibly a bit prophetic. He scored a couple times Sunday. I've got Rex Burkett on here. It looks like a mishmash in New England to me. And we'll talk Wilson and Allen here in just a moment. First, let me show you what I mean with Jackson. I covered him on this channel last Monday as what I thought was an inferior option to Austin Eckler. Now I'm not so sure. He didn't get a touch Sunday night until the second half, but Eckler was flat out stuffed. This inside handoff we've been showing you was his first touch third quarter. This run, you get a guard pulling in front of him. Suddenly there's a big hole to run through where Eckler hadn't had any such hole, so a straight-up comparison probably isn't fair, but that's a nice vector adjust when Jackson gets to the second level, and we can't ignore the fact that Jackson made a chunk gain nearly every time he touched it on Sunday night. And here's Jackson's touchdown. Again, let's not assign amazing qualities to this rookie out of Northwestern because these lanes just weren't there for Eckler in the first half, and anyone really could have run through these particular lanes I've shown you, but that little double cut there, a little stagger cut when he gets to the second level. Okay, it's not ankle breaking, but I think it shows some leg strength, a little good vision. And this might have been Jackson's best run. Again, when you give any back room to breathe like that, it's a recipe for success. But here he bounces off a tackler in a way Eckler definitely wasn't in the first half, and it's a key gain that helps set up the winning field goal. So Melvin Gordon apparently has a chance to play week 14 against the Bengals, so I'm stopping way short of guaranteeing anything for Justin Jackson. But if Gordon were to miss, I don't know how the Chargers couldn't self-scout that game and at least acknowledge they had more success when Jackson was running. Now, maybe the Steeler defense was tired, maybe the Charger offensive line got in a rhythm, but I mean, I'll put it this way, if Gordon misses that game, I'm going to be tempted to put Jackson ahead of Eckler. I thought he looked better, but also it strikes me that you tend to play successful players, and Jackson was obviously the more successful player on Sunday night. All right, a new name to the channel. Let's look at some film on 49ers rookie running back Jeff Wilson. So here's Wilson against the Seahawks Sunday. I mean, he finishes this run as befits an undrafted rookie who just came off the practice squad. Went to North Texas. He's 6 feet, 194. Kind of viewed prospect-wise as a tweener, not fast, not quick, not powerful. I don't know, looks pretty strong here. 2 plays later, we get this, and what I'm showing you are successful plays. Not really anything that the running back himself did that much, other than not fall down. A fine motor, and I don't know, he does look like he's pretty strong. Now, the reason I'm playing this, and the reason that he was playing in this game, is that Matt Breida, once again, tweaks his ankle in warm-ups. Thanks for that, that was great. And therefore winds up barely playing, only really saw action when Wilson himself was shaken up, but Wilson came back in the game and Breida really didn't play much. So, okay, I might add him. Unfortunately, my draft scout friends, who I pinged after this game for their impressions from last spring, tell me that Wilson came out of college with a bad reputation for ball security, and on this play, right after he had converted a 4th and 1, getting a tough couple yards, here, he's upright, he's running with high knees, and at the very end, he fumbles. And the Niners didn't really have a choice but to keep using him. But, you know, this is the tattoo he comes into the league with. He is a fumbler. I probably don't need to show you too much more Jeff Wilson film. If we're heading into the fantasy playoffs and we're having to rely on the dude who was maybe San Francisco's 4th, 5th maybe running back when training camp started, we're in rough shape. But then again, maybe at some point Matt Breida succumbs to his injuries, as they say, and goes on IR or doesn't play anymore, in which case it's a vacancy. And I thought I saw enough from Wilson to say, all right, I mean, as a top 30 running back, he caught it okay. I mean, he didn't really do anything special as a route runner, but they would flip him little dump-offs and he would carry them a little bit. There could be some work there for him. I'm not super excited about Jeff Wilson, but I thought he looked a little more physical than folks thought. Obviously, the fumbling could be a problem. And then finally, let's talk about, I mean, he was a much mocked first-round draft choice, and quarterback isn't exactly a position of scarcity, but Josh Allen, Bills quarterback, making noise. So you know what bad throws look like, and these are all bad throws I'm going to show you here from Josh Allen against the Dolphins. He has one of the biggest arms in the league. It might be him and Pat Mahomes, but Allen simply hasn't harnessed the power yet. His touch is variable. The accuracy sort of goes out of whack when he moves his feet around. These are all consecutive bad plays, but I'm going to show you good ones too. But yeah, seeing these happen, and I think maybe all but one of these happened within like a 4 or 5 minute span of each other. Like, the danger in thinking about using Josh Allen in your fantasy playoffs is he could Nathan Peterman you to death for sure with play after play like this. But would you please look at this touchdown throw? Allen does this all the time. Extends, extends, extends. He throws it entirely across his body, running the other direction. This is quarterbacking 101, that you're not supposed to do this. You're going to make a mistake and get intercepted. And Allen's arm is so strong that it's a laser for a touchdown. But the only reason we would consider Josh Allen as the ultimate wild card for your fantasy playoffs is the running. He's the best athlete on nearly any field he steps on. He's 6'5" and 237 pounds running like this. Cheat code. They can't get him onto the ground. They spied him. There aren't all that many, running plays called for him. Lamar Jackson gets them all the time, right? But Josh Allen just sort of decides, I'm going to run now, and he Cam Newtons the heck out of some plays. 234 rushing yards the past 2 weeks since his return from an injured elbow. Justin Jackson, Jeff Wilson, Josh Allen. These guys aren't going to be listed as fantasy starters for me in the ranks that you'll find on harrisfootball.com on Tuesday. They're going to be bench players at best, and probably that's true of anybody you're going to add in most shallower leagues for Week 14, this particular Week 14. But as speculative ads, I don't mind the idea of pruning the roster. I might look at running back handcuffs, but then again, why not look for some potentially high upside guys? I mean, if Josh Allen does it again, might we start to think he's got the cheat code down? It's possible. And so if you've got guys who are part-time players or just sort of stuck in situations where they're not likely to make a lot of noise, I don't hate the idea of adding one or more of these guys. And maybe by the time Week 15 or 16 comes around, we will feel better about using them in actual fantasy playoff games. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.